Do you want to go for a wild camp in Europe? You'll have to watch this video.
Hi there! We are Kat and Frodo and we are from Steps by Kaatje. In this video I want to take you wild camping in Europe. Or at least tell you a little bit about it, so that way if you ever think about finding yourself a free camping spot in Europe, you know where to go. Alright, so my first thing is check out what's possible and what isn't. Because Europe, you know, it's a whole bunch of different countries all together and they all have kind of their own rules. Like there are places where it's really not allowed to camp. And I'm talking like about Luxembourg, for example, it's a really no-no. And also Italy, the Netherlands and Belgium, and also they are really kind of severe. You don't want to camp there, oh well, or take the risk, whatever you want. But there is also like a paradise. And I would say that would be kind of like Sweden, where you can just camp wherever you want, as long as it's not longer than 24 hours. So that's perfect. You can go and camp in most of Scandinavian countries, England, especially in Scotland, you can do it. Other countries are like France, where it's in most spots it's allowed, so you can do it, but you have to get away from the main roads. You have to be at least an hour of walking away from a main road. Stay away from the nature reserves and the beaches up there. So in Germany it's not allowed, but it is allowed to sleep in a bivy bag. So if you want to do that, that's possible and you're not illegal. So that's the first thing to do, is check out what you can do and what you can't. I'm gonna put a link to a website in the description below so you can check it out for yourself, because it's just impossible to go country by country what's possible and what isn't. So the second thing you might consider is finding alternatives, because there are some alternatives, like in the Netherlands and Belgium, where it's not allowed to free camp or to do wild camp. There are like bivouac zones, and those are spots where you are allowed to camp and stay the night. Now most of the times you will have to make a reservation for it, but they're nice. They often have a restroom, or you know, sometimes they have water, and so it's really nice. And so I can really recommend it. In my videos you will often see some of those bivouac zones. Another option, like in Germany, they also have kind of like what we have, the bivouac zones, but those you have to pay like about 10 euros to stay there. But you can also make reservations. They have platforms to pitch your tent. They often have a toilet, so it's really nice as well. So that's a good alternative. Another great alternative you have in Belgium is the website Welcome to My Garden. Those are people who open up their yard, their garden, for camping for a night. You sometimes have to pay a bit, sometimes you don't, or you might just do a little chore or something. It's really great. You get to meet some people. It started because of COVID, so something good came out of COVID, so that's nice. Another option is, well, often you find a small campsite at a farm or something, which are really neat as well. You'll pay a little fee, but it's never really very expensive. So look in those alternatives. They might be fun, and they might be a bit more comfort, because you might have a toilet or even maybe a shower if you go on a campsite. The third thing is where I want to talk about, of course, well, you might consider going wild camping anyway, although it is illegal. In a lot of places they will let you, if you keep yourself in a low profile. I don't think anybody will mind that you stay there. Don't go into a nature reserve or in vulnerable environment. You don't go and pitch your tent there. Beaches usually are off the limits as well. Of course, be careful with rivers, so don't pitch your tent too close to a river, because that might, if it starts raining, might be ending up down the river a little bit further, with or without your tent. So be careful with that. You might want to find yourself a little spot away from the path where there is not so many people that will see you, which is, I think, a good idea if you're doing something which is not really legal. Also, you can pitch late and leave early. So if you want to camp, just wait a little bit to pitch your tent, have your dinner, and then when it's starting to get dark, pitch your tent, go to sleep, and in the morning then you just make sure that you're already going and doing your next stretch. Also, if you're somewhere where you know that it's private or something, you know, at form, you can always go and ask permission, because quite often you will get permission to do it, and then you don't have to worry about anything. You're not doing anything illegal. So bear that in mind. But yeah, we all like this little free campsite somewhere in a nice spot when you're out for a few days. But yes, it's your choice. Another thing I do want to talk about is Campfire. Basically, if I would go wild camp, I don't think I would make a campfire, except in a spot where there have been other people, where there might be a fire pit. Yeah, you can consider doing it. Of course, when it's dry season, it has been dry for months, don't make a campfire. But that's, I guess, something we all know. All right, last one. If you wild camp, leave no trace, because we don't want to spoil nature. We want to leave it as we found it for others to enjoy. So that's my important message. If you decide to go for a free campsite, to go wild camp, pay attention to that. So stay away from nature reserves, beaches, and leave no trace. All right? And otherwise, just enjoy your night out in the woods. It can be so great. All right, this was it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys on my next one. And when you're at it, do not forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed yet. Give me a little like, leave me a comment if you have a question, and I'll try to put as much information in the description as I can. So if you want to add something, let me know. I'll put it in there as well. All right, so this was it. See you guys on the next one. Bye. Okay, Frodo, let's be wild. Yeah! Yeah. Eh?